Found an article here that I wholeheartedly support and want to bring attention to because it really is a necessity, and I think it needs more attention. Legislate new fleet acts for a generational investment in naval power. I completely agree with this. We're going to get into this article a little bit. I hope you join me. And this comes out of, what's the name of this group again? Center for International Maritime Security Fostering the Discussion of Securing the Seas, or CIMSEC. This is the website that I'm using. This is their article. By Jason Lancaster, and I support this article completely. What he goes through is absolutely something that needs to be implemented immediately by the United States Congress. The Navy's annual 30-year shipbuilding plan should be replaced with a congressionally appropriated Fleet Act. This act would fund the construction of the fleet that the nation needs. Over the past 10 years of annual 30-year shipbuilding plans, the fleet has shrank, not grown. U.S. shipbuilders lack the capability to build the required ships because there is little consistency in U.S. warship procurement. And this is best exemplified by the littoral combat ships, which the United States Navy genuinely does not want. But Congress, because there are certain Congress people who have districts that these contracts fall to, will not stop production of them, continue to fund them, and force them on the Navy. I believe it was the USS Auckland traveled from her christening, sea trials, to Auckland, Australia, for a christening there, because Auckland, New Zealand, I apologize. And as soon as it left, was decommissioned. The Navy doesn't want these ships. There has been a delay on our new frigate. The Constellation class frigates are no longer going to be delivered in fiscal 26. They are going to be in mid-fiscal 29 as the Chinese launch their Type 54s. We get a little bit more into this article. This shows the schedule of the shipbuilding dates as of the fiscal years. And as you can see, by fiscal year 2044, the United States should have a fleet of 378 ships. At this time, the United States estimates that the Chinese will have a fleet of 450 or more ships in fiscal year 44. And those ships are becoming far more sophisticated than the little sampans that a lot of people think they are. These are very capable ships with incredibly capable weapon systems. During the late 19th and 20th century, the United States, Imperial Germany, Austria-Hungary used fleet acts to fund desired force designs. Congress funded the Two-Ocean Navy Act in 1940 to expand the fleet by more than 70%. One would think the imperial governments, Imperial Germany and Austria-Hungary, would also have persuaded their Kaiser of both nations, Chiefs Navy, to have their shipbuilding plans approved by their respective parliaments. The Two-Ocean Navy Act of 1940 provides a framework for a similar congressional act. In 1940, Congress authorized, and you can see the numbers below. This act provided funding for ships and munitions and shipyard expansions, which is the number one thing the United States Navy needs to do, is shipyard expansion. We need to literally freeze funding on vessels currently because we can only build one or two a year. We need to expand ship construction facilities on an emergency wartime basis. This act provided significant funding for ships, munitions, and shipyard expansions. It would help the United States Navy get a running start on wartime expansion by the time the attack on Pearl Harbor more than a year later occurred. I support this wholeheartedly. I absolutely support this because as the finished part of this, and I'm gonna read it to you now. It took decades for the Navy to reach this state. It will take steady and consistent funding to return the Navy to its desired size. A Fleet Act could provide a more viable mechanism for adjusting the Navy's force structure and making a generational investment in naval power compared to the 30-year shipbuilding plan, which has lost much of its usefulness. When you start talking about 3-year delays on construction of your first frigate of your class, as your potential opponent is putting ships out at a pace that you cannot possibly fathom at this point to come close to matching. Not exceeding, matching. The United States has a serious problem. We have a serious problem. We cannot compete on a one-for-one basis. So yes, I completely agree that we need to invest heavily in the United States Navy, its shipbuilding capacity, its weapons, its research, and ships. But what Jason Lancaster, and Jason is it says right here, Commander Jason Lancaster, United States Navy, is a student at the National War College. He has served at sea in destroyers, amphibious ships, and destroyer squadron. Ashore, he has served as an instructor at the Surface Warfare Officers School at N5 at Commander, Naval Forces Korea, and an OpNav N5. So he clearly knows what he's talking about. I support what he's saying 100%. But I also support some out-of-the-box thinking. And that out-of-the-box thinking, I'm doing a video about that, and that will be dropping today as well. And I certainly hope that you stick around for that, because wow, is Ghost amazing. Out-of-the-box thinking, exactly what I've been thinking. You're going to love it. I encourage you to watch that video. I really appreciate you stopping by to watch this video. I really do. I hope you'll consider liking and subscribing to the channel. And I thank you. Have a great day.